welcome to Vibey Tuesday. My cat was literally just right here, and I was like really hoping he would still be here, but alas, he jumped right before the call started. Yeah, welcome everybody. Okay, so today what we will be tapping on is kind of a smattering of things, because that is how my brain works, but started with tapping on taking up space, and then just kind of moving into just being the most authentic version of yourself that you can be. And in that, in moving into the most authentic version of yourself, not caring what others think about you, and continuing to take up space and continuing to be loud and be big and be opinionated and all of those things, even if you receive certain looks from others or judgment from others or anything like that. So really this is about being your authentic version of yourself, and then when you are in that space of feeling aligned on the inside, it'll radiate on the outside, and then you will just naturally be flooded with other people that resonate with you, you know? And this came up. I was talking to a friend the other night, and we were just talking about how sometimes you'll be having a conversation with somebody, you know, and this could be like a friend or a partner or a family member, like anybody, but maybe you're talking about something that's quote unquote woo-woo. But maybe you're talking about astrology, or maybe like tapping or manifestation or visualization or Reiki or whatever. Like maybe you're just talking about these things that you love in life and that just comes so naturally to you. And maybe this has happened to you, maybe this is not. This has definitely happened to me a lot. But maybe you'll just kind of get like this glazed look, just kind of like confusion, like maybe there's like perplexed, and just knowing that is okay. Like, because I always have this example of, I guess I have two examples, but I remember when I was younger and I was in my 20s, and my sister has always been very much like into like the spiritual space, and I just remember she would be talking to me about the stuff that I talk about now, but I was younger and had nothing that was not in my peripheral. And she would just be talking about, I don't even know what she was talking about. She would be talking about things that I could not even comprehend. Like I didn't even understand what she was saying, what the words were that she was saying. It was so out there to me that I didn't even have a response. I didn't know how to respond. So it was like a blank stare, because I was like, I don't even know what to ask you, because I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I have no idea. And then as I got older, and as I got into this line of work, or the interest that I have now, you know, like yoga and tapping and cacao and women's circles and astrology, like now that I'm into all of this, I see that look now on people's face, like the face of just being like, huh. And then just nothing. And for a while I got really offended by it, you know, because I felt like I was like, well, I want you to be interested in what I'm doing, and I want you to ask me questions, and I want you to understand me better, you know? And now I'm finally able to see that, like, they just literally, which is okay, totally fine, but they just don't have it within their capacity to even understand where to start with what you're talking about. It's just like, boop, like air. And it just kind of made me think about, like, I had to do some interviews today at work. And some of the people were just talking about engineering, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I just don't get it. They were just talking about it, and I was like, and then I would just switch subjects and ask them a question, because I did not know what they were talking about, and I just didn't even know what to ask about it, so I just switched gears. But yeah, just knowing that, like, if you ever get that, like, if you're ever talking about something that you're passionate about or interested in, you're taking up space, and you're like, oh my God, this makes me so happy, and then the person has a response that is kind of like meh, or doesn't ask questions, or doesn't know how to respond, or doesn't engage, it's not you. It's not you. It's just them not maybe having that capacity or that knowledge base yet to be able to engage in a conversation about it, and so not letting what other people might think about you, or the perceived judgment that maybe you're taking on, like not letting that keep you from being your most authentic self, like your biggest self. And I think with taking up space and with being authentic, I think, maybe when we were younger, we weren't able to take up space. Maybe there was somebody else in the family that took up the space. And maybe we weren't able to use our voices and speak our opinions, or maybe the opinions that we did speak just weren't honored, or they were put down, or they were dismissed. Maybe what we wore as children, which was like our creative expression, maybe that was also made fun of. I know for me, like if I ever spoke up or like had an opinion or asked a question, it would kind of be mocked and made fun of when I was younger. And so it kind of kept me from doing that and from asking questions or from having opinions that were different from other people's. And so I think all these things happen when we're younger, that could keep us smaller, could like put us in a box and keep us from living authentically, because we're afraid of judgment, or afraid of what other people are going to think, or afraid of being made fun of. And even just like taking up space and having an opinion and having a voice, that could be hard because of what life was like when we were younger. And so I think when I think of being authentic, at least kind of what helped me in kind of moving into more of a space of being okay in my own skin and feeling comfortable in my own skin, was really getting curious and like trying new things and putting myself in new places. So like going to cacao circles, going to new yoga studios, going to different events that interest you. It doesn't have to be within the spiritual realm, quote unquote, but it could be like music events or dance events, or learning how to dance, or I don't know, crochet or hula hooping, or there's so many things that I feel like you can do and put yourself out there. And if it's of interest to you and you go and you do it, you're probably going to meet other people that have that same interest, and just kind of get to know yourself better. And it's awkward at first. It's never necessarily easy to try something new and to put yourself into these new situations. I know for me, it was definitely very, very awkward to do things on my own, first of all, and to go to these things by myself and to try to meet new people. But over time, like that fear just kind of fades because you've done it over and over again. And then you learn what you like and you learn what you don't like. Like I had a lot to learn. There was a lot of stuff I went to that I was like, that did not resonate at all. And then other things I left and I just had so much energy. So I feel like in this exploration of trying to find what you love and who you are, a lot of it is like feeling into how you feel. So like if you go to an event or a space or whatever it is, if you leave there feeling super drained and exhausted, that is a sign that maybe that's not for you, but then if you go to a different event and you just leave and you're like lit and you're ecstatic and you're so happy and you have so much energy, like that is something to pay attention to, right? Because like that is just your soul being like on fire. And so in moving into these new versions of yourself, you'll just become more comfortable in your skin. And with that, like more people, like the people that resonate with you will just start flooding in naturally, because you'll be feeling better, you'll have more energy, you'll be doing what you love, and you'll be speaking up about how you feel and speaking your opinion and all these things. And then the people that resonate with you and resonate with what you're saying and with what you're wearing and with what you're doing will naturally just flood into your life. And then you'll have, you'll be more full. And there will be probably like a shedding and a purging of maybe things and places and people that do not necessarily resonate, but that's kind of part of like the whole death and rebirth process. So letting these like old masks that you were wearing fall away and fade away. Yes, getting out of your hometown. Yes, now you're here. That's a huge shift. Yeah, moving, like completely like moving to a new city, like that's so much purging just moving in general when you move, and then like moving to a whole new city and having to kind of start over again and find roommates and man, make new friends and explore a new city. Like so much change, and like that's huge. So like taking risks, and I feel like that's a really big thing, is like taking the risks that you know might be hard and might seem hard, but like that risk is so worth the reward, you know? And yeah, I feel like for a really long time, I felt like I was living this double life. I felt like I like had like one way that I felt inside, but then I kind of portrayed that different on the outside. And, you know, over the last couple of years, I've finally been able to find myself. Yes, it took me 2 years, and I wanted to give up so many times and just go back home, but I'm so glad I stuck it out. Fuck yes, Dylan. See, I feel like it takes some time. Like, I feel like there's like an adjustment period, and like it takes time, but like now you stuck it out. And I feel like from knowing you just seem to have a wonderful life in Point Loma /OB. And so yeah, it takes some time to like move through it. But then it's so worth it on the other side. And yeah, so that's really what we're going to tap on today, is just like moving into your authentic self, taking risks, taking up space, and knowing that you deserve to take up all that space, you know, that is there for you to take up all the space around you. It is there for you to just like embody and take in. So, and it's freeing. It's very freeing once you are like just your insides and your outsides match. It's just like, it's like feels like freedom, you know, because you can act and walk and talk as one. You don't have to think before you speak, or you're kind of more following your intuition, and it's a beautiful thing. All right. Let me just see if there's anything else. Dun, dun, dun. I don't think so. Cool. Okay. So we'll start doing some tapping. So if you have never tapped before, we'll kind of go through a series of just like doing tapping on the body. And so it's as if you were like tapping somebody on the shoulder. So just like a gentle tap, nothing like crazy. And so I'll just lead you through where you're going to tap, and then I'll say something and you will repeat after me. And we'll just go from there. All right. So let's start at the top of the head, right up here, and then you'll just repeat after me. I am ready to step into the most authentic version of myself. I'm ready to get curious and explore. I'm ready to try new things and really put myself out there. And I'm ready to make big changes in my life and take the big risks. Because really, what is life without the risks? Any time in my life that I chose to make a big change, or when a big change happened in my life unexpectedly, it was fucking scary as shit at first. And I honestly did not think that I would make it through. But every time I look back on these big moments in my life, can see that they are exactly what was meant to happen. And in order to move into my biggest, baddest self, I'm going to have to take some risks. And I know I can handle it. But sometimes the fear of these changes holds me back. Maybe I'm afraid of what other people will think of this decision. Maybe I'm afraid of what other people will say about me. Maybe I'm afraid of losing people in my life. And even though I have this fear of change, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. And when I was younger, maybe I wasn't able to take up space. Maybe I wasn't able to have my own opinions. Maybe I was made fun of for what I wore or how I acted. Maybe I was made fun of for the things that made me happy. And because I was a child, I internalized all of this. And I created a story that what I was not enough. Or that who I was weird or different. And I created a story that being weird or different is a bad thing. Kind of like Phoebe from Friends and how she was portrayed. Although she was the coolest one. And even though I have carried this story that being weird and being different is bad, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. Because honestly, now I know the truth. Which is that being weird and different is where it's at. Being different is what makes me stand out in a crowd. Being different and expressing myself makes me feel alive. Having a different opinion from somebody else, oof, the best. Because it starts a conversation, it opens my eyes to new ways of thinking. if we all thought and dressed the exact same way, life would be so fucking boring. And so every single day, I am choosing to slowly slide down a new mask from my face. To reveal the real me that's behind that mask. And it's going to be fun because I get to fall in love with myself. I get to fall in love with the real me. I get to have my own love story. And anytime that I notice a quirky quality about myself, I'm going to choose to embrace that and love that part of myself. Because that's what makes me unique. And as long as I love every part of myself, I won't give a shit what anybody else thinks. Because when I love myself, I am not seeking validation. When I love myself, I know that I can take up as much space as I want. And I can let my freak flag fly. And when I'm out in the world, being my best self, living my best life, people that are at my same vibration will flood in. And I know this won't happen overnight. I know that this is a process and this is an evolution. And so I'm choosing to enjoy the journey every day. There are going to be ups, there are going to be downs. But I mean, isn't that what life is? So I'm super fucking excited to start wearing the clothes that I love. To start screaming or dancing in the park. To start going to new places and meeting new people. And I'm just really excited to meet myself all over again. And I know that not long from now, I'll completely forget I ever did this tapping because I'll just be so authentically me. and life will feel big and fabulous and free. And I will feel whole. And so it is. All right, take a deep inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. I hope you feel better than you did when you got here. Drink lots of water. It's basically like acupuncture via tapping. So just drink lots of water. We just moved a lot of stuff around, and take care of yourself today. And so good to see you. All right.